Calling all beings, y'all. Let's get it.
Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Welcome back to Calling All Beings, baby. Can I get a man for Calling All Beings? Let me tell you something, people. Very, very serious topic tonight. Everybody that's going to be on tonight, save for Coach Luttrell, who's hearing this for the first time, is being fueled by a lot of anger and outrage. It is not an emotion that you can continue on indefinitely. And with that said, there's going to be a little bit of a lighthearted intro here with something known as the open letter to Nurse Kim. Okay? And she just brushed her hair. So we're going to bring her and Sean on, and then we're going to bring on our special guests, and then even Jussier is going to call in from the car. So real quick, let's get going. I'm your host, DJ, of course, and let me bring on some of my amazing friends that I just feel so blessed to have met over the last couple of months. And first of all, let's go with the man who has been bringing the action, El Jefe, the great white shark, the King Mofo, who's been bringing the noise from the BPD, the Canton PD, the Mass State Police. Okay? Put your hands together for Sean McDonough.
DJ, what's up, buddy? How you doing? What's up, Chad? How you doing? All the chatters. Good to see everyone. Yeah, Daddy, I love it. Auntie B too.
It's good to see you, brother. And let's bring on this next young lady. She is just tearing it up. Oh, Lally's replacement is here. Hello, we love Kim's face. Let me bring her on so we could do the open letter to Nurse Kim. Here she is, the content creator like no other, my sister from another mister from Massachusetts. Put them together for Nurse Kim.
Stop it, DJ. It's so incredible. You just give me a big head when I come to this show. I appreciate you.
Are you ready for the open letter?
I don't know,
Okay.
But yes, I am.
Okay. Kim is not aware of this, and even though with Sean's top secret security clearance, I didn't even let him in on this, okay, because I would have had a polygraph, and I didn't want to go through all that. So, dear Nurse Kim, it was just 24 hours ago when you put out a piece of artwork, a piece of content creation that I think inarguably could be called a masterpiece, and that is, of course, Colleen and Nurse Kim, a virtual masterpiece. My question is, Nurse Kim, with your fellow content creators whom you love, you want us to be able to aspire to something this great, but you have raised the bar to an altitude of which none of us can reach. This is like Michelangelo's frescoes painted upon the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Lord.
So, Nurse Kim, how do you expect us to be able to aspire to this level of greatness that episode was yesterday, Colleen and Kim, or Kim and Colleen?
Listen, that was the real deal, Colleen O'Neill. And listen, it's women supporting women. It's standing up for strong independence. And what I think Colleen brings to the table is such a unique experience. She's so smart. She is really making her voice known. And I love her. Do you know what I mean? And I want to have conversations with people that are real, that are important, that I believe are important, and that is it. And it was off the hinges, but that's what I do the best. Chaos is what I do, and you all do a better job than me in your sleep. So
Kim,
I can't.
Kim, you have to give us a goal that we can reach.
Yeah,
and
well, here we go. Punch a Proctor. Okay, that's what you can do.
You have to give us something we can aspire to, because you've put it beyond our reach. So please, bring it back. Give us hope. This is what I'm at. Give us hope. Me and Sean.
You can do. Listen, you guys are magic. You are magic. You are unicorns. You are everything. You are everything that these asshats behind me
These
are not.
mofos.
Okay, that these mofos. Well, no, we love mofos, right? We have king mofo. So they are not mofos. They are not in the club. And we just you do it amazing, and that is it. You have nothing to want to be like. I am just a moron on the internet.
Not at all. We love it. It was amazing. It was really a masterpiece. So that's really what this was about, was to make you laugh and just say it was
Hilarious.
a brilliant masterpiece. Okay, so
thank you.
All right, thank you, Kim. All right, I want to bring on this gentleman right here, folks. Jussier, I believe, he got called to go to Miami and pick up a Brazilian friend. He lives in like the Coral Springs, Coconut Creek area. Sean knows where that is. You guys, you know where that is. Okay. And he has been called down to go to Miami and pick up a Brazilian friend. I believe he's going to call in on the phone. I hope so. But the gentleman I have right on here, Jussier has trained with him when he came to Albuquerque and visited me. This gentleman is a retired APD officer. He also served with the New Mexico State Police. He also served with the, I don't know if it was Sandoval County Sheriffs. He has been on SWAT. He has been on the gang unit. He was the first ever fighter at Jackson's MMA Academy in Albuquerque, the first fighter for Greg Jackson. He then opened Luttrell's MMA. And then he coached for, 20 years or so. He's just an amazing human being, one of the kindest people that you'll meet, and somebody you wouldn't want to cross him. I can guarantee you that. He was also a standout New Mexico State wrestler. He may tell us that he won the state championship. I don't know. I know his son just won the state championship, his son Roman. But without further ado, let me bring on my friend, the man himself. Put your hands together for our Irish brother from Albuquerque, NM, Coach Chris Luttrell. Can I get it? Amen.
Amen.
Well, thank you.
All right, Coach, I am turning you over to the very capable hands of Sean McDonough, retired DEA agent, and Nurse Kim, who is a legal analyst and a practicing nurse, and two amazing human beings, new friends of mine, that are covering the massive corruption that is going on with about 3 or 4 police agencies in Boston. And these guys are going to ping pong back and forth, and I'm going to shut up. Sean, take it away, or Kim, whomever wants to go first.
Hey, guys. Well, listen, thank you for having on DJ again, Chris. Nice to meet you. I spent a great week in Albuquerque back in 1987. Being a kid from Boston, I loved going over there, seeing the Sandian Mountains. All those trucks, man, I never seen so many pickup trucks in my life. It was a beautiful, beautiful country. And I said, that would be a place I could really, and then the hot air balloon, that was another thing. Just beautiful. So basically what we're doing here is we had a young recruit out of the Massachusetts State Police, 2 weeks from graduating, I'm going to say it, he was killed a week ago tonight. He allegedly was in a situation where he had an emergency injury brought to the hospital, and they tried to hide the ball from the citizens. And I got the early word that he was already brain dead, living on life support. And the end of the story is he was involved in a vicious, listen, they're saying it was a boxing match. When I got it on early Friday morning, person told me he was dead, 3 broken vertebrae, missing teeth, massive injuries to the back of his head, and some very bad contusions and bruising all over his body. Now, I've done some boxing before, and I've never seen anyone get a broken neck, missing teeth. Evidently, he had the headgear on. He had the mouth 16-ounce gloves, Chris. I'm not sure. I think Chris is muted.
Yep. I muted Chris's mic just because he's getting a lot of background noise.
Okay.
But it's whenever you're ready to have him talk, I'll unmute.
Right.
So go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
So, anyways, Chris, the question being is, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand this was a lot more than a little 2-round, 8-minute boxing match.
Yes, absolutely. I'll tell you what. We held those boxing matches for recruits, and it's something that normally, safely, you can get them used to being, taking some hits and trying to keep so they can keep their composure and fight through it and not lose their head. But I'll tell you, there's so many safety measures, or there's supposed to be so many safety measures in place that, you're lucky to get a minor injury.
Right. And the word from the class was that there was drill instructors there. There were retired Mass State Troopers there. There were off-duty state troopers there. There was calls that they were betting on the combatants, and that it just got way out of hand. The word was that the other kid, recruit, had experience in boxing, and no one wanted to fight him. And then this hero, well-liked kid, number one in the class, said, "Okay, fine, I'll get up." And he went in, and I don't think the kid's a fighter to begin with, but he got pummeled, big time, pummeled. And to this day, it's been a week. No one has taken the initiative to find out who's going to do the investigation, because the county that it happened in, this kid that's dead right now used to work for the district attorney. So he recused himself, and we've missed a whole week, Chris, valuable time. And no one's investigating this. They don't know what to do.
That's crazy.
It should have been tied up in a bow.
Can you detail the injuries for Chris so he can hear all the injuries? Because I think he wants to hear that.
Okay,
Either
so-
you or Kim, can you?
Yeah, Kim, you go down the line, Kim. Kim is, she's muted.
Shouldn't be.
She is on, her mic is muted.
Sorry,
No, do it again.
new
There you
here.
go. All right.
Okay. So basically what we had was, in theory, a C5 through C7 cervical spine injury, which I believe, sir, may have been clearly a SCI, a spinal cord injury, in addition to the fractures of breaking your neck. And then he also had, what else, Sean, was
The
there?
broken teeth, teeth.
And they said that it could have been from intubation. It was absolutely not. If there was more than one, that's only 0% to 10% of intubations. And he would have had to have poor dentition and a lot of other factors. I do not believe that was the case.
Right.
So his broken teeth. Then we have his leg. He had a broken leg too, Sean.
Yeah, broken leg.
Broken leg, and he also had a massive brain bleed. So these are what is allegedly, sir, supposed to have happened in one round, right, Sean?
Two rounds.
Rounds of 2 minutes of boxing, where there are supposed to be safety nets in place.
Yeah, that's unheard of. That has to be investigated. It doesn't happen. I've been in MMA my whole life, and I've seen some horrific beatings between different sized people and fights that happened in the gym that shouldn't have, from different countries. And, I've seen substantial injuries, but nothing like that. This couldn't have come from just boxing. Like, the injuries to the back that's somebody's getting picked up and dropped on, and getting dropped on their head. None of it makes sense. The teeth with 16-ounce gloves, headgear, you don't lose teeth from that. They got mouthpieces in. I've seen this I've taught at different academies, different levels. I taught for years with the Department of Energy and different police departments, and nothing like this has ever happened.
DJ, I have some of the photos if you want me to show them.
Please, yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Just a trigger warning to the audience, guys. This is, it might be a little bit difficult for you. It's not gruesome, but it is bruising, and it is on our trooper, Enrique Delgado Garcia, okay?
Okay, you have to. There you go. See now? Do you see that, Chris?
Yes.
So you see this weird bruising, this reddish mark that's all kind of bruising in there. How the hell you get boxed in that area? And it looks like there's some kind of, not fracture, but some kind of broken. I can't tell. They said that was a fracture.
Yeah, it looks like the knee is it looks like it's dislocated almost.
Right,
Chris,
exactly.
like an inside heel hook. From it, when you reap the knee, and like an inside heel hook, most certainly could happen.
Yeah, that could.
You know,
Yeah,
very
a heel hook
consistent.
could produce that damage. But
Yeah.
but not even leg kicks. You know, like
No.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Right. And the thing is, they've been hiding the ball now for a week. This story keeps evolving, right? Let me give you another one here,
Yes, sir.
DJ.
Yes, sir.
The magic of StreamYard here.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting one. Now, I want you to look at this, Chris. How the hell does he get this much bruising on his shoulder? Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's not from boxing.
no, not with six. I mean, listen, you guys, I mean, you wear what, 4-ounce, those padded gloves? This is 16-ounce gloves. This is crazy.
Yeah, 16-ounce gloves. It's hard to do any damage with those things.
Exactly.
Really.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that could be like an Americana or something like that, like Chris. But if you went like way too far with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
DJ, can you move that up a little bit? Moving the nipple further down, because do you see these two distal, like these distal, it almost looks like a taser mark right here.
I have another photo of that. Hold on. Too bad stream doesn't do the right.
I didn't see that the last time.
Yeah, I can't. Unfortunately, we can't manipulate the photo inside the scene, but I would if I could.
Try this here. Out there. Got this one here. There we go.
And I think somebody wanted you to mention, Kim, that he was intubated also, because Chris isn't aware of that.
Can you put that up?
Yeah.
You see it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is bizarre. Look at the bruising above his nipple there. Those dots. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me. So those ones right near his, where we're going to call his axillary, his armpit, right? Like those ones right below. That's very interesting and patterned to me in the bruising. I am also a registered nurse and I'm wound certified. So, but this one, the large ecchymosis that is right there. When you look at the swelling, right, that is sustained, and there is specifically at the midline where we do have Enrique Delgado Garcia, his lead, that is the one that is right across from his nipple. You will notice that he has such swelling in that sternum region. It does not look to me as if it was CPR compressions. It looks more, in my humble opinion, of we have broken ribs, but it's more to the going to the side, right? It's going, well, if that's him, it's left-sided, right? Because it's not sternal midline. It's going out right across towards the nipple, and he has all of that. Like, it's such a blow that he would have taken a huge impact to the chest.
Chris, what do you think about the possibility that the gloves had some kind of metal, or some like brass knuckles, something metal inside the gloves? I mean, to get that type of bruising.
Yeah, we took a fighter to Russia, and my fighter had several skull fractures, orbitals broken, and every time he got hit, you could see, you knew that the gloves were loaded.
There you go.
They either wrap the gloves and harden those, or they put something in there, but that definitely could be one of the contributing factors.
Right.
Sean also, I think Sean has some information that there was betting going on between retired troopers that were showing up to these fights the day they were having the fights, and were putting money on various students or academy cadets. Yeah.
And the DIs were saying, get up, finish him, kill him. I mean, this is crazy. This is coming from
Yeah.
the classmates and the hazing and the all the PTSD coming out of this thing. It's crazy.
Chris, can I just
Yeah,
ask
but-
one question? I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, it's hard to take in. It's hard to digest all of it, really.
Right.
Yeah.
In your years in the MMA gym, had you seen injuries like what you saw here from training fighters and so forth, like broken neck and
No,
you know?
and I'll tell you, no. I mean, I used to think we were brutal back at Jackson's in the early days. Bull in the ring. One guy would stay in 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, but there'd be some minor injuries, but nothing. I've seen people get knocked out, but nothing like this. It's everything. It's all the different injuries to the different parts of the body when it's only supposed to be boxing. With all the protective gear, it just makes no sense in any way, shape, or form.
All right, I'm turning it back over to Sean and Nurse Kim now. I just wanted to get that one in there because I've never heard you talk about that. I've never seen it when I've been in the room, and I've never heard you talk about those kinds of injuries, and that's why I wanted to bring you to Sean and Kim.
Chris, the big thing here is why hide the ball? This should have been wrapped up in a nice bow right now, delivered to the at the very minimum, Chris. There has to be negligent homicide here with these people just letting this thing go too far.
Absolutely, and it sounds like there's a whole bunch of them involved.
Yeah, right. And so the district attorney recused himself, said, "I can't investigate this. I'm not. My office is not." Now, the other problem here we have, Chris, is the fact that every district attorney's office in the Massachusetts, right, have their own contingency of mass troopers that are assigned to homicide investigations and major crimes. And what we've had in the past 3 years is a system of corruption within the state police that have covered up suicides, but there was actually a murder, right? They covered up the murder, made it look like a suicide. And of course, the murder of John O'Keefe, a Boston police officer, that there's definitely cover up in that case also. How can the state police be trusted to police themselves in this incident when they're not even coming out? Chris, not one trooper, not even the colonel, the head dog, has shown his face on camera. Not one.
Wow, that's scary. That's a lot going on.
And Chris, the sad thing is, they threw the family a bone, right? And they made him an honorary. No, they made him a trooper. They swore him in and made him a trooper, gave him a badge. I mean, that's all politics, right? I mean, that's just complete BS.
I'm gonna mute and unmute Chris as you guys ask questions, just so that the feedback isn't coming. So repeat that statement that you said right there, Sean.
I'm just saying, before they actually took Enrique off of life support, they swore him in as a trooper.
Yeah, to placate the family.
Yeah, basically, right.
Yeah, and Sean was saying he couldn't even respond to the oath because he was on life support.
Yeah, from the minute he entered that hospital.
Yeah, I heard they gave him full police honors, and sounds like they're trying to pacify the family.
Exactly. And of course, there's language, listen, they come from a Hispanic community there. There should be someone from that DA's office that can translate for the DA. Not the family should not be translating. It should be an official translator assigned to the DA's office or the state police. They have many bilingual officers and troopers.
Absolutely.
Let me get Nurse Kim in there.
Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, Chris, or Coach, I don't know, or Sir. I just wanted to ask that when you have your training classes, if there were to be, in all the years that you've done this, an event, an adverse event, a negative outcome, and your other class, the other kids or trainees were around, having that trauma that has happened in front of somebody's eyes can be devastating, especially for people who are not medical professionals, or even if you are, it never gets easier. Do you think that there could be long-term implications for the classmates that saw one of their own be killed in this horrific incident?
Kim, that's a good question, and absolutely. And I'll tell you, I've been in this for so long. When I would first get a police academy, when they would first come in, I'd say, "Hey guys, raise your hand. Who's been in a fist fight?"
There you go.
And right, and so years ago, I'd say half the class raised their hand, and I said, "Guys, knock down, drag out. You're throwing hands. And about half the class." And over the years, it dropped down to maybe 2 or 3 in the class anymore.
Wow.
So years ago, if you'd asked me this question, I would say, you know what, they'll be fine. There's, but these days, it's much more traumatic when you haven't been inoculated, you haven't been tempered. And so absolutely these cadets, they'll carry that with them for a long time, and it will affect them negatively.
Sure.
I just want to point out one other thing about Coach Luttrell here. One thing, a lot of officers that do train in combatives are less likely to pull their weapon and shoot somebody. And I saw a letter one time a mother wrote to Coach Luttrell, whose son was mentally ill and had a rifle. And Coach Luttrell talked him out of his weapon without drawing his own weapon and without anybody getting shot.
Great job.
Yeah, thanks. I'll tell you, I was behind a wall. Okay, so yeah, I was behind a wall, and
Right.
Yeah, I had had some cover, and a lady was up on her balcony, and she watched the whole thing, and I just talked to him, and
Right.
and talked him into putting it down. Yeah.
The thing is, Chris, you should be commended for that, because, it's always about the person's own feeling of the threat, right? I mean, you knew you had cover, right? But some kids today will take the shot for no reason. The kid had a gun. You just can't do that.
Right.
Was your life in fear? I mean,
I want to just point out one thing that happened, and you guys can check this out if you want to Google it, but Senior Airman Roger Fortson of Herbert Field, he was an AC-130 gunship gunner, and it was about 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. There was a police officer banging on his door like it was a drug den, and he didn't know who it was, and he was just bang, 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 open the door. He opens the door, and he has a 9mm pointed at the floor. Never raised it. It's all on film. You can watch the officer pumps 6 shots into his chest and says, "Pump the gun. Put the gun down." The guy never raised it was stuck to his leg, pointed at the floor. He never raised it. He pumped 6 shots into him, killed him. It was a high school standout, a resident of Atlanta, and he was killed right there outside of Herbert Field in Fort Walton Beach.
right.
So that's because he was in fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Wrong apartment, by the way. Domestic violence, wrong apartment.
Yeah.
It was one of those. So anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I digress from Enrique, but
No, it's a tragedy. It's it's been a week. Nothing from the investigation. We don't know what they're doing. That's the thing. We don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's why it's so frustrating, I'm sure.
And
Right.
sir, let's say if there was an example that something, a horrific negative outcome occurred, and that you knew that there may have been a hazing component, the boys got out of hand, it maybe went a little too far. Would there be in your classes that you were running, would you not say that they would be on like suspended without pay, or like, had to be transferred away and like made, not, I don't know, but not made I'm not saying like be made an example of, but like immediate action would have been taken place in your group.
Yeah, absolutely. They would open up an investigation and people would be held accountable right away. But when we had these trainings, we would invite different people.
He's frozen.
How about now?
Coach, we got you back. Can you say you would say, yeah, can you go back to when we would bring people in?
Yeah, we would bring people in from throughout the department, so higher ups, and everybody would come down, and it was like a team building exercise. And if one fighter started getting the best of the other one, they'd break it and check him, and so it wasn't this sound what happened to this young man. None of it makes sense. It just sounds like it sounds horrible, and yeah, people should be held accountable, and maybe that's why everybody's going to start protecting everybody else. I don't know. I just can't see one of our exercises going wrong. It was powerful, and everybody lifted each other up, and
right.
So
See, this is the thing I'm thinking too. I remember, you're 2 weeks from graduation. This is the time all the cobwebs have been taken out. Everybody's gelling together, spirit of core, right? This is not the time you need to be pitting people against other people. The class should be formed now. They should be a unit. 2 weeks before graduation, I don't understand this. I really don't.
None of it makes sense, really.
No.
Yeah, Jussier.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
Ma'am. No, ma'am. I was just going to say, Jussier texted me, so I'll see if he's going to figure out how. I don't know that he's ever used StreamYard, because when he's been on my show in years past, I didn't have StreamYard. But if he clicks the link, we'll see him. Yeah, I think he's going to come in and he'll get to say hi to you guys and maybe take a couple questions. But please, ma'am, go ahead with you have the floor, ma'am.
So, Coach, I just wanted to ask you also, let's say, for example, you mentioned that back in the or many years ago, that there was about 50% of the class that had been in a physical altercation, a fight, they'd thrown hands. The number has gotten less and less over the years. Now, if somebody, let's say, had a background in amateur boxing or a background in Golden Gloves, and we didn't have an appropriate match for them, right? Because there is someone who has never been in a fight. You would never match up with somebody who had extensive amateur experience or Golden Gloves, correct?
In those situations, they would find out.
Uh-oh, he froze. Coach, you're only allowed to drive in areas where there's 5G. We can't be LTE. Coach, we lost you. You were going to say in those situations, and by the way, we're limiting your driving right now to areas where 5G is present on your phone. But anyway, go ahead, Coach. You were saying, how do you handle when someone's had experience fighting? Uh-oh, he's frozen again.
How's that?
Gotcha. Well, almost. Gotcha 3x5.
I know that one too, buddy.
Yep.
1x5.
Loud but not clear. Yeah, we got you 1x5 right now.
Right.
All right.
Hey, how about
now? Sorry.
Okay, we got you now, Coach.
I'm sitting in my and my boy's trying to help me. I'm sitting here.
We're all good, Coach. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Yeah. So if they couldn't find somebody within that class that was the equivalent, we'd never, we'd find an active police officer to come in and, spar some rounds with him.
Sure.
But yeah, never like would there be mismatches, because, you're just asking for trouble. And even at most like a concussion. But that's why broken teeth with a mouthpiece headgear, that 16-ounce gloves, it doesn't add up.
No, sir.
And it sounds like this was MMA, and it sounds like there was more than one subject on this guy. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been multiple, right?
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
Personally, I don't buy the story of what they've been relaying. I don't believe that it was just it was a big guy and he was good at boxing and he hit him really hard, because those injuries are not consistent. They're not consistent with just being hit hard by a guy who is a good fighter. It sounds like there was some wrestling, there was maybe potentially some submission grappling going on, and there may have been some ground and pound. There may have been some. They talked about the broken teeth. How are you confident in the broken teeth, both Kim and Sean?
Yeah.
Are you confident that the teeth were busted out?
Definitely busted out.
Okay, so I'm thinking, there's some elbow strikes maybe that happened when he didn't have a mouth guard in, because I had a double-sided mouth guard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
How are you having training without a mouth guard, Coach?
Well, he supposedly had a mouth guard. He had a mouth guard, headgear, mouth guard.
Well, they said he had a mouth guard.
Yeah.
It's what
they
said.
said.
I don't, and see, this is where Kim knows this. I don't necessarily believe anything that they say. I don't believe anything about it, because I'm going to go with what the evidence to me looks like. The guy got grounded, pounded, and got his ass beat. It doesn't look like any kind of controlled training at all to me. This looked like a fight where someone was allowed to, potentially to drop out. I don't know how he could have broken his neck. I mean, what do you have to do to get that kind of an injury?
So that's the thing, DJ, is that I just need to express to everybody, breaking your neck in those cervical spine, in the cervical spine where it was, and rendering him to end up not having brain activity and a respiratory depression that, led to the end of his life. This was so severe, guys, that you would not see this unless he fell from maybe a multiple story building, a high impact vehicle, a head on collision. There is no way that it makes sense from in my opinion, one man's fist, right? That you couldn't get the bottom. And I have a theory, and this is just a theory, so don't say it's not fact, guys. But the C7 into the thoracic joint, right? We call that the cervical thoracic joint, and it's a very specific area at the bottom, right at the base of your neck and at the top of where your shoulders are, right there. Now, this one spot, super rare to get an injury, and the nerve roots come out, and that could have immediately rendered him paraplegic at that time.
I want to give a couple more stats, and I'm going to ask Coach if he can confirm or deny this. In the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, since 1992, there has never been these kinds of injuries in the cage in the UFC. In the history of Bellator MMA, there has never been these kinds of injuries or death in Bellator. In the history of Pride Fighting Championship in Japan, which is where many fighters like Chuck Liddell, Vanderlei Silva, many fighters started their career there and then ended in the Fedor Emelianenko and ended their career in the UFC. Never in the history of those organizations has anyone suffered an injury to the neck of that level, ever.
Yeah, I've never seen it, and I'll tell you, I back when I fought, there wasn't gloves at first. And then they went to 4 ounce, right? And ONE FC, some events they can stomp on people, they can kick them when they're down, and then even picking somebody up and dropping them, it's going to be. I haven't seen those injuries, so that's why it's hard to wrap my head around these sort of injuries. And while they're saying they're boxing with 16-ounce gloves, headgear, mouthpiece, it just doesn't make sense.
No, it just doesn't. That the injuries, it just doesn't. I mean, you had that. Didn't you have that gym fight with Megaton Diaz with nothing? It didn't sustain these kinds of injuries. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it doesn't. I've seen. I've just been there when the Russians. We had a lot of Dagestanis, a lot of Russians in the gym, and they would throw spinning heel kicks at the fighters during training, and I'm like yelling at them, guys, don't, and I've seen them connect to smaller fighters, and
Bill. Yeah.
we get concussions, but nothing like this.
Right.
No.
You talking about that one guy who retired from MMA and went to religion? I can't think of his name, but there was that one guy, the 185 pounder, and you're like, this guy's going to be the next thing. And he was throwing amazing kicks over at Jackson's. I just can't think of his name now. You know what I'm talking about? And he retired and went and became like a religious, like a priest or something.
Yeah, but he would throw spinning heel kicks, like he'd get that heel coming around so fast, and it would hit the guys. It would, it'd give them huge contusions or give them concussions. But I'm like, no more, and I had to go through the translator, knock it off. But I've seen horrific things in the gym, horrific fights where they lost their temper, gloves came off, but nothing, no injuries like this. No. This makes no sense.
I gave a little story about myself from my first supervisors meeting down in Key West. And we, after the conference, all of us out to a bar in the area, right? And my buddy got into it, a local guy, right? Next thing, I'm walking by where my buddy was. I catch a bottle, a brand new Budweiser long neck over my head. The bottle shattered everywhere. But you know something? I just had cuts from the glass. My head was fine. Full body. He busted the whole thing on my head. This poor kid is beat up big time. Big time. Got to be something. There's got to be. Yeah. There's a video. There's a video and there's witnesses. And there's been no arrests. We had the officer from Boston Police. There was no video, no witnesses, implanted evidence. They had the arrest in 3.5 days. And this, a poor kid, they still haven't found out who's going to do the investigation. This is crazy.
Well, we just wanted to say, I think crazy. Definitely. Sorry. Yeah. I just wanted to say that the family is so in our hearts and is so impressive, the Delgado Garcia family, because I will say, sir, that they came out and they immediately said, my son was killed and my cousin they killed him. And I don't know why they did, because he only wanted to be a trooper. That was his whole life's goal. Right. And that was powerful to see, because that doesn't happen here. Like people kind of shut down, and this family said what they believed. And I have so many prayers for them, and we will not stop fighting and standing beside them.
So you'll find this interesting, Chris. So I did talk to one of Enrique's friend who was a cadet in 2 classes before, and he's very good friends. So there was a little bit of an issue over the class logo, and the class wanted to put a thin blue line through the logo. And Enrique was extremely outspoken, saying he did not want that line through the logo. He was like, I guess he was the head of the class. He was the number 1 student in the class. So I guess he was the deciding factor. I don't know, but there was some consternation over that topic. Who knows if it led to some kind of, I thought this was a blanket party. You know how the blanket parties used to be, Chris, right? Remember the blanket parties? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, unfortunately, because of the injuries, because of the way they're not investigating, we got to reach. We got to start thinking at every possible motive, and
Right. Exactly. But even yourself, I mean, you see these knockouts, and these guys hit the deck fast, right? Well, we found out last night that there used to be a boxing program. They suspended it, then they brought it back in. But now we understand that there was no ropes, there was no canvas. This could have taken place like in the cafeteria floor with chairs around, right?
Right.
We don't know what the hell the conditions were. And hopefully we'll get to see the video. Now, the family supposedly has seen the video, and there's no timestamps. They don't see anything crazy on the video. This video could have been from 5 weeks ago during some boxing match back then. Sure. So, it's horrible.
Yeah.
He's not incapacitated. Here's the thing. Chris, is that that they waited 10 minutes to call 911 to get him out of the ring or whatever happened. And, he was immediately placed on life support upon arrival to UMass Memorial Hospital. So there is no way that the video you showed there for the family with him not incapacitated and on the ground and not moving is not how that ended. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Wow. Yeah, the whole thing that's crazy.
Go ahead, Kim. You take the show for DJ. Yeah, Kim, take it over, Kim.
Well, no. And sir, do you have any, okay, when you were doing the police things, right? And when you were doing the academies,
Right.
Is there any incidences where higher ups or that maybe, I don't know, higher than drill instructors, would they be betting on these fights for your fights? Because that's an allegation that is here.
No, that's it, again, it's just hard to wrap my head around that. I mean, you walk in as a chief or deputy chief and they come in to watch and it's they clap or cheer at best, but there's no nothing like that.
Exactly.
Never putting money on literal money, gambling on a recruit's injuries and which one you would like, to win.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that. Yeah, that's terrible. It's not, it's not what it's about. That's why it's so hard. I've been to so many of them and they've always been just a great experience, really. So it's hard to see something that have supposedly has gone so wrong.
Test. I think we have internet back here. Let me see.
All right, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to come back in the studio from the computer, man. That was rough. I'll be right back with you guys. Thank you for holding it down. Love you guys.
No problem. And Chris, it's always give me an example of how it is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the end, right? This is supposed to be such a bonding, a moment for the recruits to feel connected in even a deeper level of you having a really amazing and celebratory time, correct?
It is. The hard part's over, right?
Yes.
So I went through the State Police Academy and it's paramilitary and they break you down, build you back up, and it's tough but the last few weeks is now, hey, look, we pretty much got all the testing out of the way, and now we're thinking of what duty station we're going to go to, just try to bring the class closer together. So
right.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, man.
And four of the
freezing, or at least
drill instructors were ex Marines, and they instilled Paris Island techniques on these kids, recruits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Getting out of your seat 100 times before you eat, out of your seat, in your seat, push the chair. Kids are getting their knees, banged up, carrying 80-pound sea bags going down the stairs. One kid tripped, hit the kid in front of him. He fell on his ankle. He's done. And all these kids said, Sean, it was like we were in the best shape of our lives going in. We left because it was instructor induced. We were the best shape of our lives. We knew it was going to be tough. And the thing is, that's the problem. I mean, if it wasn't instructor induced, they would have, and then they got the hats on the wall who are the people who left, and they had some kind of crazy, stupid, one of those beanie type things with the propeller, all the multi-colors. If they wanted you to wash out, you wear that cap. It's horrible. I mean, what do we do? It's 2024. We should be, these kids, it's hard enough to be a cop today instead of making them absolutely crazy,
I hear you.
Yeah, there was a Haitian cadet that came on the other day, Chris, and he told that that everybody was told to go into his room, go by his bunk and say, "Go home, N-word." And then he said, one of the instructors said, I don't know, I guess called him N-word and said, "You're not fit to be here. I'm going to make sure that you don't make it." So he made it. They cut him 6 weeks before graduation. This guy was prior Army, U.S. Army, and his wife was prior U.S. Army.
Right.
And he was shocked that he said, "I'm ready for the." I mean, you could see how fit the guy was. He said, "I'm ready for this," but he said Hispanic and black guys are not welcome here.
Right.
Well, because why? Look it. Because why? No offense, but this is what the majority of mass state police look like.
Right.
Those are all state troopers right there, Chris, that are involved with the FreeKarenRead case, which I started to allude with you the other day, and then the Sandra Birchmore case, which we haven't talked about, but that was a Stoughton police officer who the FBI just arrested just about 3 weeks ago in a parking lot because he staged a suicide in her apartment because she was pregnant with his child and he was already married with a child. And the FBI arrested him for murder. And the same state policemen, some of them that you see behind Nurse Kim there, investigated FreeKarenRead and also investigated and cleared this guy and said, "Yep, it was a suicide." Strong-armed the ME. Oh, by the way, we haven't got the ME's report yet from yes, sir. And I can imagine the shenanigans that are going on there. So,
and the other thing to remember, most of those people behind her are under FBI investigation. They've already been brought into the grand jury. And anyways, it's a nightmare. I'm in Florida, but it's a nightmare up in Boston right now. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
And Chris, can I just ask you one question about, because you were saying about the paramilitary and when you had gone through your state police training, can you tell me why that it has to be the stress exposure resiliency training? Like, I know that in theory they said that there's scientific background, but in the year of our Lord 2024, they don't need to be the few, the proud, the MSP. They can just be regular trained, in my humble opinion.
Well, so they're lowering the standards as far as physically and as far as how much stress they can put on them. But again, it's like fighting. You can temper people. Our academy, when I went through the state police academy, it was the second hardest behind Alaska.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and it was brutal. They'd get us up 2-3 in the morning, screaming, yelling, making us, just cooking us. But they just, it's the old mentally tough.
Right.
You're the more mentally tough you are, the more you're going to be able to keep your composure and act calm and make good decisions. And
I think what she's saying is, do you think that it needs to be at that level? And Kim, are you referring really to the component where, okay, Kim, you're okay with defensive tactics and some boxing and some, wrestling training, whatever type of training is necessary.
Sure.
But I think what you're saying is, does it need to be this sort of fight club mentality? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. I understand that, you have to be in a pressure cooker. I get it. I understand that it's 6 months, 16 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I get it. And I know that there are positive outcomes in the field when you're able to handle that mental load. However, we live in a different day and age now. I don't know if having to if we could maybe stop making it archaic. It feels archaic that you still need to, it appears to be Fight Club, hazing, for somebody to walk into that young man's room and tell him to leave N-word. What was that doing that was making him mentally tough? Nothing.
Well, I think we got to draw the line. What I was talking about as far as putting mental stress on cadets is, that's two different things, two different issues. Walking into somebody's room and, and being racist, that there's that shouldn't be in any organization anywhere, even 20, 30, 40 years ago. That's just wrong.
Half the officers Chris served with look like Enrique. I mean,
No, I was gonna say I was one of the few white guys,
Right.
in New Mexico,
Sure.
largely Hispanic. But I don't know, it never dawned on me, never cared. It was, we did have some Marine Corps drill sergeants, former
Sure.
Marine drill, but when you're state police, I would cover, I had 86 miles of I-40, and then I had 100 miles north, 100 miles south.
Right.
So I might be the only state police officer out there. So you had to be able to keep your composure and had to be able to respond to calls by yourself. And
Sure.
so the extra training, was needed for those agencies. But as far as the Fight Club or any of that, it was nothing like that.
Yeah, and I know you conducted that. Chris not only went through that training, he conducted that training as well. So you're getting MMA, police defensive tactics trainer and former officer.
Yeah,
So
and I went back and wrote the curriculum. I rewrote the defensive tactics program, the ground control program, and which is now used in the state of New Mexico. So, but none of those, we wouldn't let our guys. We'd let them roll around and do some jujitsu, but we wouldn't let them add strikes and
Right.
and then we would box because it was so safe.
What was the ratio of washouts? Like if you had 100-person class, what was the ratio of people that washed out or just couldn't hack it?
It was in my class. It was I think 80% washed out.
Washed out. Wow.
really, wow,
Yeah.
That's a lot.
washed out. So you graduated 20%.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It was this huge, we started, it was full, and then, not a whole lot made it. But then when I transferred over to Albuquerque Police Department, they at this time, they need, everybody's short on officers. And so they would make exceptions and they lowered the standards.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, did
All
you
right.
have to go through the Albuquerque training?
I did the lateral academy.
Yeah. Okay.
So abbreviated course, but I did teach at their academy.
Oh, nice. That's great.
I promised both Kim and Sean, they did an 1.5-hour show, took a 30-minute break, and then came on here. I promised I would get them out of here in an hour, and it is 7 p.m. So any final question for Coach Luttrell, and then I will talk to the people in the chat, but I promised to get my amazing guests out of here who are going to join me, hope Sunday for the music show where we talk about our favorite bands. Sean, have you committed to that show so you can talk about your favorite bands?
First, I heard of it, but I'll.
You're on the chat, Sean. Where are you? I put you on there. Anyway, all right.
I'll have to ask the boss.
All right, I'll message you if you can. We'd love to hear you because we know not only are you a law enforcement expert and a DEA agent, you're also a musician and a guitar player. So if you came on for 5 minutes, that's all we need.
Come on.
Okay.
I got to practice my scales.
All right.
Jesus.
And this is because we're expending a lot of emotional capital. There are nights I didn't sleep this week over Enrique because I was so caught off guard. Kim didn't sleep. She's imagining that was her child. Sean has been like chasing down state troopers like crazy. What the hell's going on here? I want to know. Tell me what the hell is going on. And so this Sunday, we're going to talk about our favorite music, band, concert, songs, and just spend 1 hour where we just smile and enjoy. And the last time Mike and I did it, people just loved it. So
That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
right. Chris.
There's a lady in the chat, Eileen. She knows what my music is.
Well, I want to know. I mean, you've told me, but I want everyone to know. You've told me we talked music a little bit. I sent you some songs. You told me your favorite guitar players. So,
I'm like an equal employment opportunity type musician. I love them all.
I want you to hold your guitar up in the air.
I got 5 of them. Where are they? I got a bass.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's say goodbye to Coach Luttrell. Chris.
Yes, thank you so much, buddy. Pleasure
Thank you,
meeting you.
guys. Nice to meet all of you, and I'll say prayers tonight for Enrique and his family.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Coach.
We
It's great to
appreciate
see
you.
Thank,
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye there, Chris. Yeah. Well, I'm left. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, and there goes. All right.
Beautiful.
Sean, so
I'm sorry.
thank you, brother.
No,
I
yeah.
will say goodbye to the people in the chat. I know you've been doing the better part of 3 hours.
Don't worry about it. I'm used
All
to
right.
it. Eileen, I got to find out who your husband is. I'm drawing a blank. Was it the apartments? The off campus? I don't know. I don't even know where I was yesterday. Never mind 50 years ago. So it's a private joke there, DJ.
All right, brother.
That's the last. All right, Eileen. And DJ, thanks, buddy. And
Thank you for your
all the
time.
chat, I love you all. And
We love
look out
you.
for me. I might be coming on sometime tomorrow, Saturday. I
Yeah,
got some things I want to talk about.
Yeah. And Sunday, we're going to hear Sean's favorite music, and he's going to show us at least one of his guitars, if not two. Okay?
Yeah. Ooh, maybe all 5 of them.
All 5.
These
All
are
right.
vintage. They're
I'll
vintage.
talk to you offline about that Sunday.
You
All
got
right?
it. All right. Take care of yourself,
Thank
buddy.
you, Sean.
got it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, here we go. Where the hell's the thing at? I can't even find myself to get off here. Look at this. Where am I?
Leave studio down in there. You go. All right, everybody in the chat. I just want to see if there's anything that we didn't answer. So yeah, Nicole, thank you, love. Sean is a hero. I so much appreciate him. Romy, thank you. You always come in and support all of us, and thank you so much. I love you. I can't wrap my head around the fact that this is how the MSP Academy trains officers to protect and serve. It makes me feel real uneasy being a Mass resident. Yeah, and you heard Chris say it's when Chris taught fighting, it was a controlled environment that he was doing it in. There were other officers there. There were people to break it up if it got too serious, just like he did in the MMA gym. What do you think he did? If you had 2 fighters going at it too hard, that's when Chris would go in, or another fighter would jump in. So that's exactly what he's talking about, and it's not being done correctly there. And I wanted to get my point in because I am not Chris. I was not a fighter. I trained MMA a little bit. I trained a lot of jiu-jitsu in gyms that were jiu-jitsu gyms and MMA gyms. So I've trained with lots and lots of guys. I've trained with fighters, and I've never seen injuries like this. And then Chris told you that he hasn't seen that. It's not consistent with what their mission statement is in terms of toughening up officers and getting them used to getting punched in the face so that they don't freak out. Okay. The cat lady. Thank you, love, for the $5. Much appreciated. Namaste. What about the officer who killed himself the day after? Any connection to the academy? This is a great question that I will tackle with, and I apologize I didn't get Sean and Kim, but if you follow up with me on Twitter, I will get you that answer. If either Sean, Kim, or any of my friends have the answer, Mike, I will get you that answer. I wouldn't think that would have been connected to Enrique. It may have been connected to his experience there. Phoebe, the Haitian student who was released, we talked about him, and we got thoughts on that. It makes me sick. Anybody that knows me in real life or even online, if racism is something that in my personal life I won't deal with. I don't deal with any sort of racism, and if somebody is like that, then in my professional life, they will not find their way into my personal life. I hate racism. It's just something that I don't have to put up with. I've seen them in the Air Force, and they're not people that I've seen them in my other jobs as government contractor, all these things. I will not hang out with people like that. So I'm disgusted what happened, because the force multiplier that Haitian state police trooper would have been in the Caribbean American community around Boston would have been huge. I mean, he could have gone to schools and recruited Jamaican kids and kids from the Bahamas and obviously Haiti and any French-speaking black kids would have gravitated to that officer. They really screwed up, and it shows what assholes and dummies they are by chasing somebody off the ship. We need somebody like you. We need to be able to bring you to schools and see that you are a professional black man that has an accent, that is a state trooper, and they look amazing in their uniforms. But we can see what kind of shitheads some of them are. This guy would have been so great for the state police public relations amongst the black community, and particularly the Caribbean and French-speaking black community. Many recruits from current class spoken about the fight details. According to Sean, those folks are speaking about it, and he is hearing things. So yes, the answer is yes. Chrissy, thank you, by the way, for being here. And if you check out Sean and Kim's show, he will tell you that he has heard some things from those cadets. Unfortunately, you can't expect them to want to, at this point, give up their career. The people that should be speaking about this right now, I mean, you would expect one kid or young man or young woman might want to say, you know what? If this is the kind of organization you are, I don't want to be part of it. But then again, we didn't spend 6 months training with them. So it's hard to sit in judgment of them. That's all I can really say about that. Siobhan Mahan, in God's name, how did Trooper Paul and Guarino get through that? You know, Siobhan, what I'll tell you, having been through basic training and different schools, going through Air Force, some hostage, what do you want to call it? Survival training, hostile detention training with Air Force Special Operations and so forth. Survival training. They pushed you really hard. And you look at it and say that if this person got through it, I can get through it. You know, and that's really what it is. It's Paul and Guarino know that they know certain troopers. They maybe knew them growing up, and they're like, if that person can do it, I can do it. And it's just a matter of enduring is what it is. But it's unfortunate that if you're a Spanish person or a black person, that it can cause you to have to defend your color or your, the way that you speak or your national origin, and that's kind of sickening. Let's see. They are white. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mama, is it Mama Jama? Yeah, that's true. They're white, and they don't. I always tell people that don't understand the sort of what racism is about is that a black person, when they walk out of their home, they're always a black person. They'll never. They always are aware. They look in the mirror. Like I'm Jewish, but I have an Italian last name. You wouldn't know that I'm Jewish. But I don't. When I walk out of my home, people don't know that I'm Jewish. People that don't like Jews don't go, "Oh, DJ is a Jew," because they don't know. Especially since my father's Italian and Catholic. But a black person always has to. They can't hide who they are and people that are prejudiced against them. And you're right. Guarino and Paul didn't have to overcome that obstacle, and I didn't have to overcome the obstacle of being a black person. Okay, so look at MSP Judo Team Jiu-Jitsu. There are videos of fights on open mat with monitors, taping participants at various times. Yeah, no question, Diane. I didn't know that they had a judo team. God forbid, if you've ever been thrown, I've trained in the jiu-jitsu gym. We train judo, and I'm going to tell you, especially as a person in their late 40s and early 50s at the time, getting thrown in judo really leaves bruises. I mean, my back, I had a lot of trouble walking straight the next day after training judo. Jiu-jitsu was hard enough as it was. Kim is fantastic. We love Kim. She's amazing. Kim is at a level of a content creator that a lot of us, like I said in the opening, it sounded like I was kidding, and I really wasn't. If they want that career, they can be contracted out in different capacity. That's true. Speak off the record. I don't know if you're talking about, yeah, Emma, we would love to hear some of these people speak off the record, but some of them are just cowardice, Eileen, BBMC, take care, my dear. Yeah, there's lots of crazy crap going on in true crime at the moment. However, you come first. It's been so bad for a long time. Take care of yourself. Yes, Phoebe, and we're here for you. Any of you here, if that want to reach out to me at Call All Beings on Twitter, reach out to me. Anybody needs to talk, I'm here for it. I did it in the UFO community and in the Bigfoot community, as did all the other members of Calling All Beings, and I'm here for it in true crime. And I know that y'all are here for me too. I know that. B Harmony, dumb autocorrect, huge big loss. Yeah, autocorrect is terrible. Shauna, thank you so much. Mandolin Win. I remember speaking with you on you and I chatted on YouTube. Thank you so much for the blessing. One love to you as well. Justice for Enrique. That is 100. One love, brother. We're going to keep fighting for you. I promise you. Yeah, big, huge loss. Thank you, Kimberlina, 15. We need someone to show integrity and tell us. We do. We need someone to step up and tell us. There are a lot of cowards. You've heard me talk about the guy online, Luis Elizondo, the UFO guy. Now, Luis Elizondo was a GS-15, which is the highest rank you can achieve in the general schedule grade. That is equivalent to a colonel in the military, either Army, a colonel, or a captain in the Navy. It's an 06 rating. And Luis Elizondo quit because they would not let him brief Secretary of Defense James Mad Dog Mattis about what was going on, what they knew about UFOs. His bosses were hiding it from the SecDef and would not allow Luis to do it. Luis said goodbye to his GS-15 job because he's a person of great moral courage and integrity. And you're going to find that not all of these police are like that. They're not that. They're threatened by promising recruits. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. They're like, Kathleen, I think what you're getting at there is maybe they don't want a young, handsome, smart kid that graduated in college and graduated with honors from college to come up and make them look like the stupid idiots that they are, that are small-minded. Phoebe saying there's no room for it anywhere in this world. We're all human, one pure race. That is correct. I said this on the show on Tuesday, so forgive me for those of you who endured it. I'm going to repeat. This is former CIA Director of Field Operations, Jim Semivan, and that is Semivan, Jim Semivan, former Director of Field Operations of the CIA. Former Navy as well. Jim Semivan said the thing that's ridiculous, and he doesn't mean this in the way that some might think. He said there really are no races. We're all have the same DNA. We have the same DNA. So whether my skin pigmentation is light or dark and my hair is kinky and curly, or I'm bald or have straight hair and freckles and pale skin, we're all the same. We all have the same DNA. And that's what Jim Semivan said, and that's true. Such an asset. Yes, you are such an asset, Kathleen. And thank you, B Harmony. You also are an asset. I really appreciate you coming here and spreading this love that you do, because that's what's going to defeat these guys. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I have a couple of favorite people like Neil Armstrong, who walked on the moon first in Apollo 11 as an aviator, myself, and in aerospace is one of my heroes. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is also one of my heroes. And Dr. King said, darkness doesn't drive out darkness. Light does that. And he said, hate doesn't drive out hate. Only love can do that. Just think about that. Thank you for hitting the like button, Danielle. And thank you so much, Danielle, for the kind comments and retweeting us on Twitter X. I really appreciate you. Thank you. And Debbie Kruger, like, yes, thank you. Make sure you hit the like button, Debbie. Thank you, ma'am. And Sharon McHugh, I think it's connected. So I'm not sure what you're talking about there, but if you come up in there, I'll get it. Thank you, Christine Hoff. Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much, ma'am. Enrique does deserve justice. It was a different barracks. Emma, please explain that if you know. If you know what context that was in. We will never stop fighting. That's right. What did our friend Alan Jackson say? We ain't got no quit. These jackasses can bring whatever attorney, Hank, whatever they can bring in there. We're going to beat them again. And he says, oh, yeah, they didn't beat us. Well, you didn't put her in jail, so obviously they beat you, dumbass. I hope you're enjoying about music, too. Hell, yeah. We're going to do that music episode because I want you guys to smile. And what I'd like to see is if you would come in the show and thank you so much. If you would come in the show and bring your favorite bands, music, your favorite singer, your favorite concert memory, whatever you can bring in, we would really appreciate that. Let me know if anybody. Good night, Emma. And thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. I'll let you guys get out of here now. If there's anything else, I'm sure there isn't. I've talked long enough. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me. Thank you so much for supporting Calling All Beings. And on behalf of Coach Chris Luttrell and Sean, after keeping up with KR and the shenanigans, and now this. Not an MA resident, but the MPD has reminded me that I question all Leo and how widespread this is. Yeah, girl, Ryan, there is a lot of this. We can't question all. When we use the word all, then we're painting with a broad brush, and we don't want to do that. And we know it's not all Leos, right? We know that. So whenever we say all, every, never, always, we're gonna paint ourselves into a corner, because then we're going to see that police officer who takes off his gun belt and is playing basketball, the white police officer with a couple black kids in the hood. So we don't want to paint with a broad brush. We know it's not all, but it feels like it because of some of the incidents that are popular. But there's a lot of great officers out there that are doing good work. Some of them are my classmates from Dean, and we love them. Thank you so much, Vixie Blaze from the UK. You know, I love the UK, homie, because you know I lived there for 3 years in Cambridgeshire when I was stationed at RAF Mildenhall. So I love the UK. So thank you for being here. The UK will always be in my heart. Debbie, thank you, Eileen. I'm lucky the Air Force took me. That's it. I'm lucky the Air Force gave me a chance and gave me a career, and I'm still reaping the benefits of what the Air Force gave me today in my current career. So without that, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't be anywhere. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kimberlina. No, that's okay. I mean, we feel like it's like that way, girl, Ryan, and we feel like that because it's omnipresent in Massachusetts right now. But it's just because it's omnipresent in Massachusetts doesn't mean it's omnipresent in the whole of the United States. There is a problem, but it's not all of them. You know, there's a lot of great officers out there. We've seen Eddie and Duty Ron. We've seen Gonzo and Brian. We've seen Sean. There's so many. We've seen Peter Murphy. That's an example. So, but I love you guys. Thank you. Girl, we know that's what's up. All right. I'm going to play the CAB outro music now, and thank you so much. You guys fill my heart with joy and make it worth coming on here and doing. And I feel if we keep going, we're going to make a difference, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We will not be defeated. We won't, because we're not going to quit, and they're going to screw up like any criminal. They're going to screw up before we do. They're going to screw up, and they're going to get themselves caught. Whether it's the McAlbers, these MSP schmucks, they think that, like Matt Farwell thought he committed the perfect crime, and it turned out that he didn't. It turned out that he was not as perfect as he thought he was, and he screwed himself. So on behalf of Coach Luttrell, my co-host Sean, and my co-host Kim, this is DJ saying peace out. One love. We'll see you down the road, and we're always wondering what's up around the bed. Cheers.